Hello everybody, welcome and/or welcome back to my channel. My name is Rebecca, and for the last 3 years I have been freelancing full-time. I've done everything from videography, photography, to now web design, so some of these tips might be catered a little bit more towards web design, but regardless of what service you're offering, these tips will help you in securing your first client. First things first, you're of course going to need a portfolio. So if you don't already have something that shows your skills and what you're capable of, you can start by going to Sharpen.design. I learned about this website when I took my Google UX design certification. If you already have some project ideas, that works great too. However, this website has some really unique potential portfolio projects that can help you think outside of the box. If you're an established designer, this website's also just great to challenge yourself and practice your design skills. So for example, this is what you would see. The very first prompt is design a branded label pin for a Sundance Film Festival. Interesting. Design a avatar for a hot sauce brand in Texas. So as you can see, again, very unique, super random project ideas. If you don't know where to start or just feeling stuck, check out this site. Now that you have your portfolio, there's two other things that I would focus on before pitching myself to clients. First things first, I'm a business card girly. I know some people are saying that business cards are out, or you just do like the phone tap thing to put your contact into their phone, but I disagree. I think that having something physical that you hold in your hands will just help them remember you more. So whether you get like shoved into their wallet and they randomly have to see you and remember that you're a web designer, or you just lay out on their kitchen counter, it's just going to be nonetheless a constant reminder of you and your services, and that helps. So use a business card. When you do go to pitch your services, make sure you're actually speaking to the problems that you solve and not just to the services that you offer. So for example, if I want to go out and offer SEO services, instead of just saying I do SEO, I can go say I help people find you online, or I make it easier for people to find you online. You can use things like ChatGPT to figure this out beforehand, but it is a really good practice just so you know how to use that sales language and how to pitch yourself more effectively. Next, you're going to want to think about what price to charge for your services. And I know this is one of the hardest questions to answer as a freelancer, but entrepreneurs, whoever you're pitching yourself to, the first thing they're going to ask is, how much does it cost? And if you answer with, I don't know, it's honestly like not a cute look. It feels like an immediate no in my eyes. So do some research, see what like the average is for that service, see what people in your state specifically are charging for that service, the average hourly rate. And then just one more thing to keep in mind is that whatever you charge, 30% of that will be taxes. So make sure you are still charging high enough so that it makes sense. I am a firm believer that it's better to undercharge and overdeliver than to overcharge and underdeliver, especially when you're first getting started and projects are not in abundance yet. Make sure you're really picking a price that feels good for the skill level that you're at. When I was first getting started, I was selling websites for $500 to $750, and while I would never do that now, it's what felt right and what honestly felt the most ethical for where I was with my skill set at that time. Okay, perfect. So you have your portfolio, you have your business card, you know how to talk about your service, you have thought about pricing. Where can you go out into the world to find clients? So there's two different ways that you can go about this. I love the in-person route. So how I normally find clients is by going out to entrepreneur events or to like women entrepreneur groups. There are also like small business events. You can find these things on Instagram and Facebook. If you don't live in a city where it's easy to find events like this, or not easy to get to events like this, I would highly recommend social media. I do know another web designer that got her very first client just off of social media. In my own opinion, it seems harder because you have to like convince the person to work with you versus somebody in your life who may already know you, may already trust you. I think it's also easier to build rapport with a potential client when you're face-to-face. I personally think that the in-person method is easier. However, I feel like I've been proven wrong, and so that's really just an opinion. Your goal when you go to these networking events or freelancer small business events is to either meet other freelancers or to find potential clients. I say meet other business owners because sometimes the best way to land your first client is to partner with another freelancer or maybe somebody that is already established and is willing to work with you. Even if you don't run into potential clients, telling people what you do will help with the word of mouth marketing process. At this point in my business, all the new leads I get are from word of mouth marketing. So if you can just tell people about what you do, make it stick, remind them when you see them again. It will help you come up in their mind when the opportunity comes up for a web designer, photographer, videographer, whatever it is you do. Now, this is a little bit more niche and for Squarespace designers, but if you are a Squarespace designer, I would highly recommend signing up for Squarespace Circle. I used that method here in Omaha, and I ended up finding 2 lovely designers that I actually share an office with now. Every now and then they host local events, so join Squarespace Circle. It's free, and then you just keep an eye out for local events in the newsletter. Most importantly, my last little sprinkle that I want to add to this section, make sure that you follow up with people. Like if somebody emails you and like you email them back and then it takes them a second to get back to you, or they don't get back to you, make sure you follow up with them. I've had multiple instances where people did end up working with me, but they just forget to respond because life is busy. Again, they themselves are business owners. They have tons going on. So now that you've gone out to the world and networked a bit, this is how you can prepare for that next step. As much as you can, build processes beforehand. And again, this is something that I wish I would have done so that I could provide a more uniform and consistent experience for all of my clients at the beginning. Think about onboarding documents when you get a new client and you send them a file that tells them everything they need to know about the project, that has pricing, timeline, potential meeting dates, for example. There's tons of templates on Canva, I think for free and paid, that you can use for super, super cute proposal templates. So you don't need to start from scratch just because you're a designer. You can just make that template work for you. Same thing goes for invoicing and different payment platforms. I would say if you can, invest in a service like QuickBooks, especially if you plan on freelancing more than, a few times, like you plan on doing this long term, invest into a service like QuickBooks. I'll have some links down below. You can also use a service like Stripe. It is free to sign up. However, you'll probably need some documentation to show that you're a business. And then lastly, you can also use a service like PayPal. However, I would recommend against it. I feel like it isn't the most professional option. However, I know it's used all the time, so it is not the end of the world if you use PayPal. I would just personally stay away from services like Venmo, for example, for payment of services. And again, I think a quick disclaimer, just because there's some nuance to that. I think Venmo is fine for if I'm going to get my nails done and the person accepts Venmo, that's one thing. But I think when you're offering online services, having an actual invoicing platform is nicer than just doing a Venmo payment. Lastly, what you can do to prepare is just script some emails. If you think about the conversations you're going to have, what you can prepare, this isn't a must, but for me personally, getting back to emails and staying on top of things and knowing what to say is a challenge and takes a lot of energy. So if you can prepare by just anticipating some questions that you might get, or anticipating how you might want to start conversations or where you'll need communication to be sent out, and prep it as much as possible, templatize it as much as possible, it will help you in the long run. I don't know why I said lastly to the scripting emails, because I definitely have more tips. Next, think about a contract. Again, I know this is a hard one, but you do not want to do business without a contract. If you do it, we all have to learn our lessons the hard way sometimes, but you should always be sending a contract out to your clients. There are tons of templates online, and if you do want to go above and beyond, you can also hire a lawyer on a service like Upwork to either write a contract for you or to just review a contract for you and give you feedback on maybe what you should include or remove. You can think about the offboarding process, and one resource that I just really wanted to plug here in particular is called Tango. It's a really cool tool that helps you build simple tutorials for your clients. I was filming dedicated videos for every single client as handoff tutorials, and it was so time consuming, especially as you get more clients. So using a service like Tango where you can templatize tutorials and then just send them the link, or just quickly use the tool to make tutorials, will be such a huge time saver. I would highly recommend it, and I wish I would have known about this 3 years ago. My final tip is to practice empathy. This is the number one thing in UX design, but put yourself into your client's shoes. Think about when you would want to be communicated to. What communication would you expect if you were on the receiving end of your service? Send calendar invites ahead of time so you're not where's the link? Or 1 second, here's the link right before your meeting with your clients. Essentially, just over communicate and try to give as much information and anticipate their needs beforehand. Again, this is essentially the service industry, and we just want to make sure that our clients are having a good experience. They're likely spending ideas of things that you should do to prepare for a new client or how to land that first client, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below. Or if you have any questions, same thing, feel free. I will get to them as soon as I can. I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's thoughts, and I hope you all found this helpful. Until next time, I will see you in the next video. Bye!